Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to Wolf Tickets MMA. Today we're breaking down UFC 283, Teixiera versus Hill. First, let's do a recap on last week, or Saturday. So I went 3 for 4 on my bets. First bet was Raquel Pennington at plus 100. That was a greasy, sweaty decision. I actually thought I lost. I went to go do laundry, came back, found out I won, and I will take that. And I broke cardinal sin of betting on women's MMA, but this card was pretty sketchy and chalky to me, and I didn't want to put too much down. So I broke cardinal sin and bet Raquel a women's MMA fight that could have went either way, but I got her at plus 100, so I felt I had to take it because I thought she was better everywhere, and it turned out the way I thought it would. Just a greasy, sweaty decision that it could have went either way. I wanted to bet the split prop, but I forgot actually, and My next bet had a 3-leg parlay at plus 563. Ige to win by KO, TKO, or DQ. That went. So I kind of thought that if Jackson would have taken him down, or attempted to take him out, he didn't even try to, which is good for me because he did not belong anywhere on the feet with Danny Ige. It just shows Jackson has been finished like 4 or 5 times by KO. Ige had the striking, and he used it. Jackson didn't even try to attempt a takedown, and this is what happens, get KO'd. The next leg in the parlay was Johnson Flick, not the good decision. That kind of went how I thought it would be. I thought Flick would get the sub, or Johnson would get the KO. And Flick went out there gassed and got beat up pretty bad. And that third leg, which I thought was probably my lock of the night, but it was minus 330. I didn't want to lay the choke on it. But Nascimento, he went out there, did his thing, got the sub in the first round. That was pretty sweat-free. This whole parlay was sweat-free. I'm kind of glad that it won, but I'm kind of mad that I didn't dump enough on it. But the Ige KO, TKO was in the back of my mind because I thought Jackson would have at least tried to wrestle a little bit more, but I'll take it. Now this one, which I thought would have been sweat-free too, which wasn't. I had a 3-leg parlay at plus 275. I had Rubeski to win by KO, TKO, DQ, or sub, and that did not happen. Now, I don't know if Fiore is just that tough or Rubeski is just going to be a possible future fade. I'm going to wait till his next fight before I decide that, but that did not go the way I thought it would. Then it was Basharat, did his thing, minus 315, and then once again, Ige Jackson not to go to the decision because I saw Jackson could have got the sub, or Ige to get the TKO or KO. But it is what it is. I didn't drop that much on it, but that Rubeski kind of screwed me on the on that one. And my third leg was or another 3-leg parlay at plus 132. It was Johnson Flick, no decision, Nascimento, and Basharat. And that was my bets. I put half a unit down, only $50 total. The Raquel bet was $25, and the rest of these parlays I think were only $5 or $10. And it was just too chalky and too greasy for me. So I stayed away from betting heavy this card, but I'm going to lay a little more on this one coming up because I see a few good spots. So 3 for 4 on my bets. I think 9 or 8 for 11 on my picks, and I was up 0.71 units on the card, which isn't too bad for what I put down. So I doubled my my money at least. So let's start off this card with a bantamweight fight between Daniel Marcos and Simon Olivera. Marcos is a plus 160 underdog. Olivera is a minus 190 favorite. So Marcos, he's a boxer, throws some decent kicks, some decent leg kicks and front kicks to the face. He's pretty low output with no real power, it seems. He seems like he does have good defensive wrestling, but that's relative to fighting on the regional scene with regional fighters, and he seems to have good cardio. Overall, I'm not too impressed with him. Simon Olivera is okay Muay Thai. Mixes up strikes, kicks, knees, elbows. He can be taken down, but he's always a submission threat no matter where he's at, especially guillotines and front chokes. He's always looking to dive on them and headhunt. He's a good get-up game, although he was controlled by Gravely, but that's what Gravely does. He's a great wrestler. He seems to have good cardio, takedowns. He shoots from too far away, though, sometimes, which isn't too good if you're trying to get a takedown. If you're not setting him up and you're shooting too far away, people can see him coming. He has decent control on top, too. Overall, I'm not too impressed with either guy, but Olivera has more ways to win. He was already in there with Tony Gravely, which is a way better opponent than anybody Marcos has fought. I see it going over, but Olivera's sub threat like has to be noted there. I don't think I'm going to have any good action unless I can get a good line on Olivera, but it doesn't look like it. He's minus 190. Unless money starts coming in on Marcos, then I'm probably not going to put anything on this, but Olivera's my pick for now. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if I'm going to put anything on it, though. And then we move along to the men's bantamweight division with Juan Lacerda versus Cody Stamann. Lacerda's a plus 260 underdog. Stamann's minus 330. Lacerda's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's pretty bad striking too, but he'll shoot for takedowns, do that thing where he shoots for a single, falls back to his back to initiate a jiu-jitsu scramble. He's a big submission threat from anywhere. He's just throwing them up constantly. He'll attack your legs. He has good control on top. He's constantly going for subs, which in this fight could pay off. And he's fighting against Cody Stamann. He's a high-paced wrestler, grinder. You know, he's okay striking. He's got short little arms. He's typically going to decision. I heard an interview with him saying he's going to try to finish Lacerda, but we'll see how that goes. He has been submitted before and taken down. And against a jiu-jitsu guy here, you know, that's always a something to look out for. He just has that typical small guy wrestling style, move forward, throw strikes, clinch, go for takedowns, and grind on the guy until the fight's over. And he has good cardio too. I feel like this could be a trap. I'm going to have to go with Stamann just because he has the experience of being in there, but Lacerda's constant submission threat, his high-level submission threat is always going to be there, and Stamann has been submitted before, so with Stamann not being a finisher, typically, he has that one KO. Who did he knock out? Eddie Wineland, who's just been, you know, brutalized in the last few years. I don't remember the last time he's won a fight, or when he has been finished at least. But Stamann typically is not going to go out there and just finish anybody, knock anybody out, or submit them. And so with this, it's either Stamann decision or Lacerda sub. I don't know, because I feel like this is a trap. If you lay the chalk on Cody Stamann, he goes out there and, you know, dives for a double and gets his neck snatched up and choked. You know, you're gonna be regretting that card, but I don't know. I see Cody Stamann being able to avoid these subs because he has been in there with better guys, but obviously the sub threat from Lacerda is always there, and he has a pretty high level jiu-jitsu game, and he can catch anybody. So Lacerda sub wouldn't be a bad sprinkle. Stamann decision would be better than just picking a straight up money line, because there's more value in that, because he's probably not going to go out there and finish anybody unless Lacerda accepts bottom. He's going for a sub and just gets his face pounded out, which probably isn't going to happen. Oh yeah. So Lacerda sub, Stamann decision. Simple as that. Moving along. Women's featherweight division, Josiane Nunes versus Zara Fairn. Nunes is a minus 450 heavy. I think she moves up, actually. Let's see. Nunes minus 475 right now in DraftKings, and Fairn plus 380. And this is low-level women's MMA written all over it. Nunes, she's a striker. She seems to have some decent power, but she throws wide hooks from everywhere. She's competent enough on top, but she can accept bottom if she gets taken down and be inactive, but that is not going to happen here against Fairn. She's very short. She has good enough cardio, and she's always looking to finish, you know, winging those big wide hooks. Fairn's old, 36 years old, zero ground game at all. She has nice straight striking. She has no power. She fights like once a year. And the last time they were scheduled to fight, she missed weight by like 11 pounds. So if this fight even makes it, you know, to the card, and this fight actually happens, then I'm just going to have to skip it either way, because it is ultimately a low-level women's MMA fight, but Nunes has more ways to win. If she had half a brain, she'd probably try to take this to the ground and, you know, beat Fairn up, which she could absolutely do, but she just has to, you know, try to do that. And who knows if she's going to. This could be Trap City, but Nunes ultimately is more ways to win. on the feet, it's sketchy because Fairn does throw straight punches, and straight punches do beat wide, looping hooks all day. But you have to accept the fact that Fairn's not that good, and she's 36 years old, and she's inactive. But I will be staying far, far away from this. Next up in the men's welterweight division, we got Warlley Alves versus Nicolas Dalby. This is basically a pick'em. Dalby is 38 years old, Alves 32 years old, but it feels like Alves has been around forever. Alves, well-rounded, great jiu-jitsu, good takedowns from clinch. He can be taken down sometimes. His striking is serviceable. He does have some KOs. Typically, his fights all end inside the distance. He has high-level experience for a very long time. He guillotined Colby, 8 years ago, probably. And he's fighting Dalby, who's he's well-rounded, but he's typically not a finisher. He fights not to lose. He points fights just to win decisions for the most part. He can be taken down and controlled. He typically won't accept bottom. He has a decent get-up game. He will try to scramble and get out. He's just not a KO or a sub-threat. He's just good everywhere. He's not great. He's good. He's competent no matter where it goes. But although Dalby isn't a finisher, and typically you want to have two finishers to bet an under, I think this goes under. Dalby's 7 years older, so automatically starts with a 67% edge, on the betting line. And Alves does have some miles on him, even though he is 6-7 years younger, or 5-6, whatever. His last fights have ended inside the distance, and Dalby loves to go the distance and is tough. And this isn't a confident pick, but Warlley has improved his striking and his grappling edge. He has a bigger grappling edge than Dalby does. So I'm either going to pick Dalby or inside the distance. I don't know. He's got this feeling. Typically, Dalby's going to decisions, and he's point fighting to win decisions for the most part. But I just see this ending inside the distance with Alves could get caught with some crazy punch. He's probably not going to get submitted by Dalby. Or I see Alves just put it on Dalby and getting a KO or sub. I can see it happening. I'm not confident at all, obviously, but I just think Alves is the way better fighter here for the most part. And I think he comes out with the W and inside the distance. Next up should be a fun one in the lightweight division. We got Terrence McKinney versus Israel Bonfim. McKinney's a -120 favorite. Bonfim's +100 underdog. We all know how it's going to go. McKinney's a powerful, explosive, wild striker. He's great wrestling. He has a good submission threat, but he has a very, very questionable gas tank. He can get wild, get put in danger. He's a kill or be killed. Bonfim's a solid enough striker. He mixes up strikes well. He's a good KO and sub threat, but that's relative to the low competition he's been fighting. I'm looking forward to see how he handles McKinney stepping up in competition, and he looks to have good cardio. But I'm going to have to go with McKinney here as a pick because his experience and his well-rounded game should be able to, at least for as quick as this goes, she'll be able to stop Bonfim, even though Bonfim looks to have to be a decent prospect. He's pretty well-rounded. But the under here is -200, which is going to be a good parlay piece because McKinney's a finisher. If he doesn't finish you in the first round and a half, you're probably going to end up finishing him. He has been submitted before. He has been KO'd before. And if McKinney does gas and Bonfim's still in there after a round and a half, a live bet on Bonfim wouldn't be bad because, if it does get extended, it's probably going to be McKinney, beating up with Bonfim early. So you might be able to get decent odds. But I'm going to have to go with McKinney here, but ultimately the under is the pick, and it is going to be the parlay piece either way. And then we move along to the heavyweight division, which I don't know how this fight got made. Jailton Almeida versus Shamil Abdurakhimov. Almeida's a -1,000 favorite, and Shamil is a +625 underdog. Almeida's a world-class grappler. He's a good boxer. He's a finisher, KO, and, sub guy. He's a natural light heavyweight. I don't know why he keeps fighting these weird old heavyweight fights, but he's fighting Shamil. He's 41 years old, which automatically Almeida's starting with a 68%, edge on the betting line. He's a good striker. He's been KO'd bad in his last 3 fights. But that's against, decent guys. He had or has had KO power. Blades took him down, which is probably going to be what Almeida's going to try to do. He has decent get-ups, but he can be taken right back down. And Shamil has a pretty legendary chin. The obvious pick here is Jalton. He's scarier, fresher, better fighter. You got to be worried about the size difference because I don't know why Almeida's taking these heavyweight fights right now. Probably all light heavyweights afraid to fight him. I would be too. But, this is probably going to go inside the distance. And it's probably going to be Almeida with a KO or sub. What are the odds there? Let's see. Doink. Yeah, under a round and a half is minus 310. Over a round and a half is plus 255. So it's probably going under if Jalton gets that first takedown. He's probably gonna end up doing something with it and probably putting Shamil out of there. So I'm gonna have to go with Almeida. Not dropping minus 1,000 on him. Obviously, not even gonna parlay him because he's fighting a big heavyweight. Anything could happen. But Almeida's probably going to take this fairly easily. Let me move along to the welterweight division. Gabriel Bonfin, the other Bonfin brother, versus Munir Lazzez. Bonfin's a minus 185 favorite. Lazzez plus 155 underdog. So Bonfin, he's well-rounded. He can leave his hands down after throwing strikes and get hit. He leans back with that tall guy defense. He has a nice jab. Looks like he's looking for pull counters, which is why he's pulling back a lot. And he has a pretty good takedown threat with he has good top control. He has a high submission threat. He's always throwing subs up. Lazzez is he's a sharp, tight kickboxer, although it seems like he lacks a lot of power. He has okay takedown defense and get-ups. He's tough. He ate some bombs from Al Hassan. We just seen what Al Hassan can do, just a couple days ago. And historically through his career. He will shoot for doubles, but he leaves his neck wide open. If he does that against Bonfim, it's going to be night-night. He has good distance management, standing. He does throw some good knees, standing out in the open and in the clinch. It could be this is going to end up being a good close fight. It's either going to end by a submission by Bonfin, depending on what he wants to do. But Lazzez should have the striking upside. And if he couldn't defend some of these takedowns, he could walk away with this. Just leaving your neck open like that when you're going to shoot for doubles when you're tired against a jiu-jitsu guy like Bonfim or against a guy with decent jiu-jitsu like Bonfim. That's just a recipe for disaster. I'm going to go with Bonfim here, but I'm not sure I want to go heavy on him. But he does have more paths to victory, and he should be the better overall fighter here, or more well-rounded fighter. So Bonfim, inside the distance. If Lazzez can defend these takedowns and not shoot dumb doubles and avoid the submission threat, then this could be a very close fight. But ultimately, I'm going to go with Bonfim here. Bonfin. Moving on to lightweight, we got Thiago Moises versus Melquizael Costa, who's coming in on short notice. Moises is they don't even have the odds up here yet. Let's see. Moises, where you at, bud? Huh. All right, well, they don't got odds up, but I'm going to assume that Moises is going to be a big favorite here. Moises, he's solid. He's well-rounded. He has good striking. Mixes up the strikes. KO or his hands and his kicks. He's not really a KO threat. He has a good grappler with a decent. He's a good grappler with good submission threat and good submission upside. He's good cardio. He has good takedowns, but he can get sloppy and lose top position. He has decent output. He's constantly moving forward, and he can be taken down. Although he has a decent get-up game and he has a submission threat on bottom. Costa is coming on short notice, I think a couple weeks ago. He is a solid enough striker. He looks to be decent on the ground and have good cardio. But overall, he's just not as good as Thiago Moises, especially on short notice. But he won't quit. He's looking to fight for your money. He's not going to go out there and lay down. He looks like he has good cardio. But ultimately, Moises should take this pretty easily. Costa just isn't on that level. He looks slow, doesn't have a lot of power. He has a couple KOs, but that's, relative to the regional scene. He might put up a decent fight, and he is tough, but odds are I'm going to go with Moises to finish this inside the distance. He's just, better guys, fought better guys for a way longer time, and he's probably going to take this pretty easily. Moving along to the people's main event, we have RoboCop Gregory Rodrigues versus Bruno Ferreira. RoboCop is minus 330. Ferreira is a plus 270 underdog. RoboCop, he's just, he's on a roll right now. Fan favorite. He has heavy hands. He's a strong, powerful striker. He's a strong, powerful, world-class grappler, even though he doesn't really use it. He's tough. We just saw what happened to his forehead against Chitty. Didn't quit. You can see that vein in the middle of his forehead. He just kept coming forward. He's been in these crazy wars. But the thing about him is he exchanges too much, and he doesn't use his world-class grappling when he does get hurt or when he just has the upside and he can do it. He'll just start throwing heavy bombs, and whoever falls first, falls first. And against a guy like, Ferreira, that might not be the best idea, even though he fought better fighters, obviously. Ferreira is a strong, powerful striker and grappler. He'll go for these double legs, pick you up, dump you on your head. He looks like he has decent top control, good ground and pound. He's questionable cardio because he's never been around 3. I think his latest fight was like 2 minutes into round 2. He hasn't fought the highest level guys. He does have decent kicks and punches, and he's powerful, and he's a finisher. So this fight is probably going to end inside the distance, and it's probably going to be pretty brutal. And I see, obviously, RoboCop coming out here and doing his thing. There's going to be violence all day. RoboCop should take this. He's fought the better guys, and he's on just another level. He can get carried away and brawl, which, if he does get caught, Ferreira does hit hard, and he could put him away, but I just don't see it happening. This should be fun for as long as it lasts, and RoboCop should walk away with his hand raised. Now we're moving on to the saddest fight of the night, light heavyweight. We got legend Shogun Hua, probably should have retired 6-7 years ago, versus Yohar Potiera. Shogun's a plus 170 underdog. I don't know how against Potiera. That just shows how far he's declined. And Potiera is a minus 200 favorite. What do you say about Shogun? He's been around forever. He's a legend, classic Muay Thai striker. Decent ground game if he decides to use it. He's fought everyone for the last 2 decades, basically. He's 41 years old. He's fighting Ihor. He's a striker. Seems helpless off his back, and he completely dies after a round and a half of fighting. Just from the couple fights I've watched. He does have some decent power, but, I mean, are you really going to bet on this fight with how hard Ihor fades after a round and how bad he looks off his back? Shogun might actually be able to pull this off, but he's also almost 20 years older, 15, 16 years older than Ihor. But no way I'm putting my money anywhere near this fight. I just hope Shogun pulls it off and stops fighting. I don't know if he needs the money or if he just has to get that one win before he leaves. But I hope Shogun comes out, does his thing. He hasn't looked good in a while, even though he does have a handful of wins. He went on a decent little 3-4 fight win streak a couple years ago. But he's just not the same guy, nowhere near the same guy. If he was, he would murder Ihor in the first 30 seconds of their fight. But I just hope Shogun goes out there and just doesn't completely fall apart and get finished by some dumb strike. And, he retires with a embarrassing loss. But it is what it is. I'm going with Shogun here. One of my favorite fighters of all time. Been watching him for about 18 years, probably. Yeah. Shogun. Let's get it done. Next up in light heavyweight, we got Paul Craig, the Bear Jew, plus 145 versus Johnny Dynamite Walker, minus 170. This fight is going to be crazy for as long as it lasts. It's most likely going to end up in a crazy, weird finish from either guy. Craig, he's an amazing grappler, but that's honestly about it. He has heart. He's kill or be killed. He relies too much on getting beat up and throwing up Hail Mary subs. He's like the new age shitty version of Nogueira. He is okay striking, I guess, but it's not really that technical. He doesn't really have a chin. His cardio is very questionable. He does have a win over Jamal Hill. He's fighting on the same card for the title, so that is what it is. Craig's just a high submission threat, but that's typically after getting beat up for the entire fight. And he's fighting Johnny Walker, who he's good. A lot of people sleep on him because he has been KO'd a handful of times. He has a handful of the funniest KOs ever that you can ever see in MMA. He's very unorthodox. He throws weird like flying knees and spinning back fists and long strikes. He has lots of power, I'd say. He does have a submission threat, but he also has no chin, and he's typically very exciting. He is well rounded. I know a lot of people sleep on him and make fun of him, but he's not that bad. He just can't take a punch. The under is the obvious choice here. The under is probably going to be juiced. Let's check that out. So there we go. So the under is minus 150, which is not bad. Actually, that might be a good parlay piece. At least now, you better, get those bets in before that line gets all crazy. I guess I'm going to have to go with Walker here. Even though this can end a handful of ways, a handful of crazy, funny ways. A Walker KO early or late after Craig gasses, or maybe Walker drops Craig, gets comfortable, goes to finish him, and Walker throws up a sub and catches Walker, or Craig throws up a sub. I said it right, but it's going to be probably a KO from Walker, possibly a sub from Craig. Craig could probably KO Walker too with that chin, but who knows? Stay away from it. Bet the under. Don't pick a money line. You can throw a dart at the wall and come out on top. Bet the dog if you want. But I see Johnny Walker probably has this anywhere it goes. But once again, you're throwing your money on two guys who both like to get finished and have no chins. But whatever. Walker has more ways to win. Second card of the main card, we have the flyweight fight between Jessica Andrade versus Lauren Murphy. Andrade is somehow minus 460 favorite. Murphy is a plus 370 underdog. Andrade's been around forever. She's well-rounded. She's a powerful striker, strong grappler. She'll pick you up, slam you on your head, or punch you in the face and body and finish you. Her last 4 losses are to champs. She's typically a finisher for the most part, and she's fought like everyone, in these women's divisions. Murphy, she doesn't have the best resume. She went on a decent streak. She is 1-4 in her 4-1 in her last 5. She's tough. She's not going to go out there and quit. She's going to keep marching forward. She's sloppy, or she has sloppy striking, but no real power. She does have a high takedown threat. She's tough. She's not going to quit. Andrade should win this fight pretty easily, but in every aspect too. She's far better everywhere, and she has a finishing upside. if Andrade inside the distance is a good price, I might look at taking it. But Murphy should be bigger here. Let's see. Where's you? 5'5", 5'1"? Yeah. So early in Andrade's career, she was fighting up a weight class, and she was getting controlled by these bigger girls. Now, I don't know if that makes a difference now, 10 years later, 8 years later, whatever it is, but Murphy, she can bully Andrade, if she ends up not getting clipped or taken down. She can make this a grinding fight and, possibly wear on Andrade. She does have a habit of gassing a little bit because she throws these winging shots, but I don't see it happening. I'm also not going to pay minus 490 for Jessica Andrade. If the inside the distance prop is decent, let's look at that. Andrade KO plus 175. Andrade submission plus 550. Actually, both of those might be a little sprinkle, but I doubt it. I don't know. I could see Murphy coming out and trying to bully Andrade, who has lost a handful of times. She has 10 losses, 9 losses. But Lauren Murphy just hasn't fought the best girls, and she's not as powerful. All she has is her toughness and her cardio and her forward pressure, which could be enough, but I don't think so. I think Andrade has this pretty easily, but I will not be betting on it, I doubt, unless it's inside the distance. Moving on to welterweight, we got Gilbert Burns, my brother, versus Neil Magney. Burns minus 410, heavy favorite. Magney plus 320 underdog. Burns, he's well-rounded. He's a great grappler, good wrestler, good top control, submission threat. He's typically a decision guy, honestly. He can fade late into the fight. He does have some decent power, as of late. He's fallen in love with his hands a little bit, it seems. He's fighting Neil Magney, who also is well-rounded. He's fought everybody forever, I think at one point he had the most fights, within a year. He's a good technical striker. He's fought everybody. He has good cardio. He's typically going to decisions, too. Just, finding ways to win. He has very good fight IQ. But if Burns decides to grapple, he should win this pretty easily. We just saw Magney go out there against Shavkat. And then, granted, Shavkat is, on another level right now. He's a great prospect. But he got controlled on the ground and, ultimately submitted. And if Burns goes out there and, just goes out there to win instead of making it exciting, instead of throwing his hands, he could, possibly take this. Even though Magney is no slouch, I just think Burns is on another level with his grappling. And he should, if he wants to get back in the title run, he should use it and make it convincing here if he wants to get another title shot. But, if Magney does survive, which he can, which he has been, which he does, he's done his whole career. He's found a way to always win the last third round and, first, second, or lose the first round, come out the last 2 rounds and win, make it greasy and adjust and, find a way to win the fight. He can do that. I just don't see it, happening against Burns. If Burns does end up gassing, then Magney might be able to steal this late, if the second round ends up close. But I don't know. Who knows how it's going to go. Burns should win this everywhere. But Magney is that sneaky guy who always finds ways to win the fight. But it's probably not going to happen here. Burns all day. Next up, the co-main event. We got a flyweight championship bout between Davison Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno. This is the 12th time these guys have fought. Figueiredo is minus 110 and Moreno is minus 110. Not surprising. You really have to break it down. Go watch the last 2 fights. Figgy, I thought he won the first fight. Obviously, it was a draw, but that point shouldn't have been taken. Probably, he should have won the decision. Second fight, Moreno just came out there and starched him. Dropped him, took his back, choked him out in the first or second, maybe third round. And the third fight was very close. Could have went either way. So, You can break this down all day. These guys are just so evenly matched that whoever shows up better on that day is probably going to win. And I'm going to have to go with the guy that won the, 2 out of 3 fights. And go with Figgy here. Just because he's training with Cahuto at Fight Ready, and they seem to be a good up-and-coming gym now, getting a lot of people ready for fights, improving a lot of people. Cahuto, like him or not, he's a good brain for the sport. Moreno is also not bad at all. He could have possibly won the last 2 fights that they fought. But who knows? Throw a dart. Throw a dart, pick a guy, and enjoy the fight that's going to be. It's going to be a good fight either way. I don't know if I want to bet on it. The over has happened twice. The under has happened once. Anything could happen. The only real result now is a KO from either guy. They had a draw. They went to decision. They got a sub. I'm going to go with Figgy KO here. Why not? Finally, we have the men's UFC light heavyweight championship main event between Glover Teixeira versus Jamal Hill. Glover is a plus 105 underdog. Jamal Hill is a minus 125 favorite. Now Hill, he's a good, well-rounded striker. He's deceptive power. He doesn't look like he's that powerful. You watch his even the way he throws his punches and the way his punches land, he's still knocking these guys out, and they're coming from weird angles. He's not winging these hard, powerful hooks and straights. He's just throwing punches, and they end up catching these guys. So I don't know if it's just the timing or what, or if he's just landing in the right spot, but he does not look powerful, but he is knocking these guys out. He doesn't seem to move his hands a lot, or move his head a lot, and he can leave his hands down to leave his chin open. He does like to throw good knees to the body and to the head from the clinch. He has good forward pressure. The only time we really seen his takedown defense was against in his last fight against Thiago Silva, and it seemed to hold up pretty well. But Thiago Silva's not a grappler, not a world-class grappler like Glover, and Silva was completely gassed in that, second or third round they got the takedowns, and he did control them. So that's concerning. His cardio looked good past 3. He kept pressuring in the 4th round of Thiago, which, Thiago was dead after a round and a half. So I know a lot of people are on Hill, but, I'm just not that convinced that going against a guy like Glover right now, is the smartest bet or pick right now, because he's fighting Teixiera, who's a great grappler, one of the best light heavyweight grapplers of all time. He's a legend. He's fought everybody. He is old, and he does have solid boxing that people forget. People forget that, when he came into the UFC, he was basically a boxer, and a lot of people avoided him. And then once he got knocked out a couple times, Rumble sent his goddamn, his brain in orbit. Then he went back to his grappling roots, and then started taking people down and beating them up. But, I don't know. I said Hill wasn't a good better pick because of him getting taken down by Thiago Silva, but, he's fighting Glover, who I think his only KO loss since Rumble was Gustafsson, and Gustafsson that night was on another level. He just went to war with Jiri, and that was the craziest fight. He was 30 seconds away from being the champion, and he just got relaxed for a split second. And I think Jiri would probably mop the floor with Jamal Hill. There's just not he does have these KOs, but that's against what's it guys that don't have chins. Johnny Walker. He's known for getting caught in these embarrassing KOs. Thiago Silva, he's far past his prime. He was completely dead after a round and a half, and then still had his moments. What's his name? Jimmy Crute, who's been unlucky, and his primary grappler, and he just caught him standing. Can Jamal Hill come out and KO Teixiera and is the real deal? Probably. I don't have nothing against Jamal Hill. I just think that Glover, if he goes out, sticks to his game plan, and does get these takedowns, I think it will make a difference. there is the age difference. Let's say 12-year difference. So Hill is starting off at like 70% age or edge betting wise. So if you're just blind betting age, Hill's gonna win this fight. Probably 70% of the time. But I don't know. Glover's a legend, and he has the style to beat Jamal Hill, but is he going to be able to do it without getting caught with one of these crazy punches, these deceptive punches that don't look powerful but end up putting you out? Obviously, inside the distance, what's it going to be, under 4.5? Let's see what they got to set at. Whoa, 1.5 rounds? Wait, there we go. Under 4.5 rounds, minus 480. If you're going to parlay that up, that's probably the one to go to. What, 3.5? Under 3.5 is minus 360. Under 2.5, minus 225. These are all in Bet Rivers. Nah. So, yeah. I don't know. I think Glover, if he goes out, fights smart, doesn't get caught in these exchanges, and wears on Hill. Because even after that Thiago fight, he got the TKO, but he laid down like he was dying. And I guess it was a high-paced fight, but I don't know. I feel like Glover just has what it takes to go out and get this. He just had that crazy war, which could factor in. Either way, if Jamal Hill wins, you got to give him props. He is that guy. But if Glover goes out and wins, like, everybody's going to say, oh, yeah. Glover should have, Glover had this the whole time. Glover had the wrestling upside. The jiu-jitsu upside. But, I don't know. It's going to be good for as long as it lasts. I want Glover to win. I'm going to pick Glover, knowing that Jamal Hill can get that KO, can defend the takedowns. And he has that, 11-year age difference. So, yeah. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, which is going to be 2 of you, probably, if that. Thanks. Don't forget to leave some comments. Let me know how much I suck. Let me know how bad my picks are. Let me know what you picked. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. Good luck this weekend. Let's make some money.